leaving Zannah behind on Ruusan to complete her initiation trial. Darth Bane navigated the Valsin to Duxon, the jungle moon of Onderon, while haunted by images of a vengeful Lord Cortus, eventually causing him to lash out in anger, damaging the ship which crash-landed. Slaying the dangerous wildlife in his way, Bane saw the image of Lord Khan, who actually helped him find the holocron of Sith Lord Freedon Nad, discovering the location of his tomb in the writings of Cortus. While taking the holocron from an inner chamber, a swarm of dangerous black Orbalisk beetles dropped from the ceiling, with two attaching themselves to Bane before he could escape the room. Suffering terrible pain on his chest and back, Bane studied the holocron, which explained the Orbalisks were special dark-side creatures that attached themselves to a host and fed off their force energy, growing and multiplying over time to eventually cover the entire body. If ever removed, they released a lethal poison capable of killing the host. Yet Bane viewed them as both a gift and curse, as the beetles had nearly impenetrable shells, creating body armor capable of withstanding lightsaber attacks, while also increasing his healing ability and raw energy output, allowing him to fight in an enhanced battle rage. Deciding he would willingly suffer the pain and embrace the Orbalisks, he learned to craft special gloves and a mask to protect his hands and face from the ever-growing armor. Ready to depart, Bane tamed a flying Drexel beast and flew it high into the sky while Duxon orbited near Onderon, placing a force bubble over them as they left the moon's atmosphere, moving through space to enter the nearby planet, descending onto its surface. Meanwhile, Darth Zannah, the 10-year-old apprentice of Darth Bane, was left to find her own way to Onderon within the next 2 weeks. Embracing her role as a Sith, the young but exceptionally talented, intelligent, and courageous girl allowed herself to be taken in by Republic aid workers, who fed and took her off-planet in a small ship with only 4 passengers. Repaying their kindness with betrayal, Zannah found a blaster and killed everyone on board, ensuring the pilot set the auto-navigation controls to Onderon before ending her life. Landing in the jungle, Zannah was attacked by beast riders, but did not fear harm, as she sensed her master fast approaching. Descending upon them from the sky, Darth Bane massacred the entire group of beast riders, and in doing so, suffered terrible wounds which quickly healed because of the Orbalisks. Amazed by his prowess and ecstatic to see him, Zannah sought to embrace her master when she saw the Orbalisk growing on his chest, touching it to realize they were alive. Speaking to her like a proud father, Bane explained about the Orbalisks and listened to her story about escaping Ruusan, expressing pride over her accomplishments. Zannah and Bane then acquired a ship and traveled to Ambria, where they built a makeshift camp to serve as their headquarters for the next 10 years. Over this decade, Bane trained Zannah, encouraging her specialization in Sith sorcery, and built upon the already substantial wealth they stole from Lord Cortus, using those funds to secretly assemble a vast intelligence network, granting them influence across the galaxy. Unable to be seen in public because of his Orbalisk armor, Bane sent Zannah to stir up conflict and chaos throughout the Republic by supporting lost cause rebellions and revolutions, thereby keeping the Jedi and central government weak, divided, and distracted. In addition to her great powers, Zannah grew into a beautiful young woman, using her looks to gain advantages wherever possible. In 990 BBY, she underwent a mission to Sereno, where she seduced the aristocratic Twi'lek warrior Keladin of the Anti-Republic Liberation Front, led by Hettin, a mysterious wealthy nobleman. Convincing Kel to implement a doomed plan to kidnap the former Chancellor Tarsis Valorum, Zannah felt a slight bit of regret sending her lover on a suicide mission, as she started to develop feelings for him, but Zannah was committed to the Sith way and quickly moved on with her life. Remaining on the planet a while longer, she soon met the nobleman Hettin, and was shocked to learn he was a Sith acolyte, with 8 Umbaran shadow assassins at his command. An older man, Hettin was never properly trained in the Force or dark side beyond the basics, but through his wealth and connections was able to collect a vast store of Sith artifacts, learning as much as possible from these sources of ancient knowledge. Realizing that Zannah was a true Sith Lord, on an entirely different level of power, Hettin knelt before her, offering himself as apprentice. Formulating a plan, she brought Hettin and her Umbarans to Ambria under the pretext of assassinating her master to take over the Order. Yet when Bane realized what was happening, he raged at the apparent betrayal, destroying all 8 assassins and Hettin with ease, before turning his wrath on Zannah. Nearly killing her, the apprentice barely managed to explain that she extracted useful information from Hettin and brought him to Ambria because only Bane was powerful enough to kill him and his assassins. When he angrily suggested he might have been killed, Zannah simply replied that would mean he was unworthy of being her master, an answer he happily accepted, sparing her life and continuing her training. Revealing the location of the Dark Lord Belia Darzu's fortress, Zannah told Bane this was where he might find instructions for crafting a holocron, a project he was eager to complete, as leaving a record of his knowledge was essential to properly train future generations of Sith. Locating Darzu's fortress on Tython in the deep core, Bane battled his way through an army of techno-beasts to find and claim her holocron. Zannah, meanwhile, was sent on a separate mission to Coruscant, posing as the Jedi Padawan Nalia Adolu to infiltrate the temple archives, searching for information on Orbalisk removal, as Bane was starting to feel they might be hindering his long-term growth as a Force user. This idea, though not without validity, was also secretly implanted in his mind by Zannah over the years, as she was eager for him to remove the armor, which made eventually defeating him in combat a near impossibility. Yet to her surprise, while searching through the archives, she ran into her cousin Darovit, who, as fate would have it, was there to testify before the council that the Sith Order had endured. Taking her cousin, she immediately left the planet, only for her departure to be noticed, with Jedi sent in pursuit. Arriving on Tython, Zannah informed Bane about Darovit and their Jedi pursuers, leaving them to drop all other considerations for the moment and prepare for battle. Facing off against 5 Jedi, the 2 Sith Lords proved superior combatants, with Zannah killing Rusk Talasu and Saro Zaj, while Bane killed Valentine Farfalla and gravely injured Warrior Domat. Yet as Bane prepared Force Lightning to eliminate their final opponent, Johan Othone, former apprentice of General Hoth, Master Domat, who was still alive, wrapped Bane in a Force shield, trapping and reflecting his lightning back upon him before he collapsed, nearly dead. If this were not bad enough, the lightning also killed many of the Orbalisks, causing them to release their poison into his system. Killing the remaining Jedi, Zannah brought her dying master to find the old healer Caleb on Ambria, who once saved his life years earlier. But when they arrived, he refused to help, having sent his daughter away so no one could ever blackmail him again. Unsure what to do next, Zannah feigned defeat, offering to hand herself and Bane over to the Jedi in exchange for healing her master and removing the Orbalisks. Agreeing to her conditions, Bane awoke sometime later and was horrified to learn Zannah contacted the Jedi. Believing she betrayed the Sith, Bane was ready to die, but his disappointment turned to pride upon learning his apprentice had a plan to ensure their escape. When the Jedi arrived, they found the healer Caleb brutally murdered, cut into a number of small pieces before they were attacked by Darovit wielding a lightsaber, driven mad by the Sith sorcery of his cousin. The Jedi, believing Darovit was the Sith Master responsible for the massacre on Tython, cut the man down, confident they at last defeated the Sith Order. Yet Zannah and her recovering master were hiding under the healer's home, and when the Jedi left Ambria, Bane expressed his admiration, declaring Zannah a worthy apprentice and heir to his legacy. A special thanks to all those who contribute to Civilization X, like John Amber of White Fork, Tim Parachado, and Lady J Book Nerd. If you'd like to help the channel, be sure to give a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and click on the links below, or else go to patreon.com/civilizationx, where you can gain early access to videos, vote on future content, and watch the Patreon-only series, Heroes of Lore and Legend.